Oh, welcome, patrons. Welcome to Burn It Down, the final episode of our introductory arc. We had to push the dramatic climax to our intro back a little bit due to some unforeseen circumstances, but that's okay. So, without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Hello, my players.
Hi.
Hi.
Oh God. Oh jeez. But anyway, so yeah, welcome back. So last game, Cadence and Madison had some adventures, which I'm assuming we'll have some time for them to fill in the others. But for the first little bit of the game, we're going to be dealing with what has happened to Willow and Alex during those adventures. So rewinding a bit. Uh, we're basically rewinding to exactly where we left off when you were with us. With Cadence has just suffered a fairly terrible defeat at the hands of the sheriff, and she's been sort of dragged into the Haven. Her and Madison are sort of dealing with that. And it's around this time, Willow, that you start to get some messages from your crew.
Okay.
And they basically are telling you that there's something that needs your attention, that they need you basically on site as soon as possible, and that you should probably be as discreet as possible because there's some details in the mix that probably are best kept quiet.
Okay. So it's definitely an in-person thing.
Mm-hmm.
As I'm reading those and we're pulling the battered Cadence in, I hey guys, I actually have got to address something real fast. And I like immediate, like very standoffishly, like I'm uncomfortable with everything that has just occurred. Uh, Backing away from this situation.
And Alex, seeing Cadence like this is actually bringing up some really bad memories. Seeing her sort of crushed and twisted like this is not doing very well for your mental state, and you kind of need to withdraw into your phone for a little bit. And eventually you're realizing that this isn't going to get better on its own accord, and you just don't feel like you can be around this at all. So you basically let them know and have some of your people come to pick you up and extract you from the situation. It's something that they're paid to do on occasion, but that's kind of how you need to get out of this room for a bit.
Right on. I can empathize that in real life.
Oh boy, we use role-playing games for real stuff. Anyway, but yeah. So Willow, you basically get to your people, and they basically tell you that something is going on with the sort of the network of favors and sort of back alley dealings that allowed everyone to relocate to Atlanta without the intervention of law enforcement or their lives getting into much details, because some of them have records. You certainly don't want to be, in the public limelight. And
No,
basically,
I have a mask for that kind of stuff.
indeed.
That's a
So
mess.
something is going down with that level of your operation, and that's sort of the reason why you need to get pulled back. And they're working on the details. And over the next couple of nights, you kind of get a better idea of the picture, and all of you come to realize that there's been a key fault. Uh-oh, pupper. There's been a key fault in that sort of chain of events and favors and deals that you guys are going to need to address. And it's basically going to involve your crew doing a very quick and dirty job in the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is to the south of the city. Which is to the south of the city, not technically in anyone's domain, but still it's going to require you to be very hands-on with your crew. And
All right, yeah.
so I'm going to say that, getting this done, while it's not easy, it's something well within the capacity of your crew. It's just going to take
Yeah,
it's just going to take an application of time and attention. So this is why you're not
I'm
involved in
aware.
stuff. But I will say, at a certain point, and I think if I have a beat on Willow's character enough, she's probably the type of person to sort of neglect her personal needs when something like this is going on.
Oh, your finger's right on the pulse, Scott.
So at some point, she begins to realize that her hunger is getting the better of her, and
Oh,
that she needs to tend to it.
okay. So,
So, like I said, you are currently located. You have a sort of a makeshift headquarters in a motel south of Atlanta. Um,
okay, south of
almost,
Atlanta.
yeah, outside of any proper domain. But you've been noticing that the beast has been getting the better of you in your operation, so you need to find some way of taking care of that.
Okay, so I feel like the method I kind of want to go with is since coming into Georgia,
Hmm.
I've my company has been acquiring a lot of contracts and stuff. I
Hmm.
think I'm interested in maybe exploiting that to scope out a target is what I'm feeling.
Okay.
Like I sit there and maybe like apartment complexes that I'm
Hmm.
now running security for. I get into where I'm not supposed to be in and sort of watch someone who's alone, someone who, yeah, definitely someone who lives alone. Most important.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
absolutely. You can
yeah,
do that. Um, so yeah, you eventually locate a target. There's an apartment complex that, has it's got, it's not fully occupied. There's like, you find someone who actually has an apartment that doesn't have anyone else living around it,
yeah,
which
like
is sort of ideal,
it
and
really is.
you're able to identify that, this is probably someone that, if in the case that something goes wrong, you can manage it fairly easily.
Yeah,
But how do you approach that? So you have a target, you have an apartment
yeah.
that you think has someone who lives by themselves.
Someone who I definitely want to see. One of the important parts for me is, do they leave? Like, what time? Like, what's their schedule like almost? Like, do
Um,
they go out to the gym? Do they come back? Because ideally, the type of thing she'd be looking for is if someone leaves and then comes back in the evening, giving her the opportunity to.
yeah, this guy is he works for Comcast. He's basically a cable installer. So he's gone for a large portion of the daytime, as far as you can tell. He has a pretty
Mhm.
long shift, but he comes back, later in the evening, and then just doesn't come. Doesn't he?
Doesn't leave.
He obviously like falls asleep like a rock, and then wakes up early in the morning to go out and do it again. And
Yeah.
he works a lot of hours, from what you can
That's
tell.
definitely once I feverishly scroll through enough feeds, uh, alone in my apartment or wherever
Hmm.
I'm set up, just like in a chair by myself in the dark, scrolling through all these different feeds for
Hmm.
hotels and buildings and everything.
Hmm.
I see him, think that's okay.
Yeah.
I look back through the history. When does he come home? When does he leave? Does anyone else live there? And then once I've seen that that's the case, I I know that's what I want.
Okay. So, personal question: would Willow
Of
wait
course.
until Hunger 3 or Hunger 4 to get to this point?
Oh, let me see. Where am I at right now? I'm at Hunger 2. I feel like, so how much time has passed since I've been away?
I would say
Cuz
that,
I'd be willing to go Hunger easily if she's like been
yeah, you've had a lot of demands on your time. It's been about, I would say, a little bit under a week. so far, getting all of this done, throwing yourself into the project and into the necessity, given what's at stake.
Yeah.
So, hunger 3 or 4, I think, is probably hunger 5 is when it's very hard to even
I'm
think.
losing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd easily say hunger 4.
Okay, so hunger
100%.
4. Okay, so you've got this guy's schedule. You've got him down as far as when he comes home, and there's not a lot of activity. He very rarely goes back out again. So you think that if you get him, anytime between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m., you think he's
Yeah.
probably asleep and not up and not active.
Yeah. Yeah. That seems good to me. If he's not home, oh god, even better. If I'm just waiting in his house for him to come home, even better.
Okay, so
yeah.
you try and get
I
in
want him.
before he comes home. So he comes home
Yeah.
around like 6:30. Is
Oh,
generally
he comes home early then.
Yeah, well, I mean he yeah.
Vampires aren't usually awake by then, are they?
It
What's the
depends on
sunset?
it depends on when the well, let's see. Let's see when it's when it just now set basically here. So probably around 7ish is when it sets.
I probably wouldn't be awake then by the time he gets home. But if he just if I I'll adventure to find out.
Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, so with
Well,
the time he comes home and with the time that you are up and active, by the time you sort of do a pass by, you see that he's home.
mm-hmm.
Uh, so are you gonna like stake it out, wait for the lights to go off, that kind of thing?
Yeah, probably. I'll sit there and make sure that if I'm doing security for this building, would it be safe to say I know what type of key he has for his door?
Um, yeah, you probably
Or
yeah they have pretty standard old style keys, like nothing fancy. Um,
mm-hmm. I
you
sit
don't.
there in my car looking through my box of
Mhm.
master keys, like,
Yeah, you think you have like you don't have like the type of contract that you have and the sort of the old style of these locks, you don't have like a straight up master key or like a copy of his key, so you think you're
yeah,
probably going to have to jimmy the lock. So at that
yeah,
point, I'm going to say, first of all, I'd like to give me a dex and stealth roll
of course.
to sort of
All
make an
right,
approach without tripping any of just without drawing any attention to this, and include your 4 hunger dice.
stealth. Yeah, hunger dice. All right. All right. Everything above a 6, correct?
Yes, everything above a 6.
All right. I
If
have 4 6. I have 3 successes. One of them is on a hunger dice.
okay, do you have any 10s?
Yes,
Uh,
the
do you
hunger dice is a 10.
is there another 10?
Yes, there's a normal 10.
There's a normal 10 as well. So that is known as a messy critical. Um, so you have an option right now.
Okay.
You can choose to take superficial willpower damage to re-roll 3 of your normal dice and potentially avoid that messy critical by doing away with that normal 10.
Okay. Let me look at my willpower. Would you say that my willpower would be at average? I've
Yeah,
had a really tough couple days,
you've had a
Scott.
couple days, but in general, if you don't spend it in play, I'm not gonna give you a surcharge on it. So you have the willpower that you have.
Okay, I'll attempt to re-roll it.
Okay, so go ahead and re-roll
Let's
up to
see if
3
it
normal
works.
dice. I recommend choosing one of the normal 10, to get rid of that.
Okay, when I re-rolled it, I got a 9.
You got
So,
a 9? Okay.
yeah.
So with an effort of will, you feel the anticipation of the beast start to rile up in you, and you keep
She's
it down.
excited.
You keep it down, and you are just able to move precisely on your own accounting up to the door, and you're able to mask your presence from anyone who might be looking or listening or any sort of security camera. You silently and invisibly make your way there. Now that
Through
you're
the
at the
smoke.
door, well, you're at the apartment. So do you want to try and go in through the door? Do you want to try and get through the window? How do you want to try and get into the apartment?
Can you describe to me the type of apartment?
Sure, it's a two-level apartment complex. So there's groupings of buildings that have like maybe eight apartments on one level and then eight apartments on the top level, and there's sort of a central staircase uh,
Oh.
that leads up to the second level, and this guy lives on the second level. And then there's like a window.
In order to get into the building, is there a buzzer or what?
Nope, there's no buzzer. This is basically just
It's
like
almost like a hotel, sort
it's
of,
kind of like a hotel. Like
where
there's a bunch of parking lots that are sort of attached
Mhm.
to each building. So you don't have to like buzz your way. There is like a gate, but it doesn't work.
Okay. Yeah. Try to keep me out.
It's one of
Yeah.
those things where like the apartment complex has a gate, but all the people who live there are just so more annoyed by it, so they choose to break it so that they don't have to deal with it.
Yeah. Like it swings open and close, but like they broke the just frustration.
hmm
All right. For that, I'm just gonna walk in like I live there.
Okay, yeah, that's perfectly fine. And like I said, your stealth roll got you up to his building as you
Mm.
can. So like I said, there's basically a window that's on the second floor on one side of the building that you could get into, or you could just walk up that central staircase and just try and go through the door itself.
Is his window blacked out?
Um, no, it doesn't look like it's blacked out at all. It just looks like
Okay.
there's a
Um.
window that goes into like his living room. It looks like it's a one bedroom apartment that has like a sitting area and a bedroom. So there's like two separate windows. There's one for his sitting area and there's one for his bedroom. I'm styling this off an old
Okay.
apartment that I used to have, by the way. Like I'm seeing
Oh, your neighbor.
yeah, pretty much.
Um. Okay. I have my lock picks with me, and so it would be easy for me to just door.
Okay.
Um. So I think I'll do that one.
All right. So go ahead and give me a dexterity plus larceny, and your break-in specialty would certainly apply, which is a bonus die. But include your 4 hunger dice in the pool.
All right. I have 2 normal successes,
Mm-hmm.
2 hunger successes, and a hunger 1.
Okay.
All right.
Any tens on that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Then yeah, you're able to slide
I
up,
just sort of
get your
crouch in front of it. Just.
get your lockpick sec. You have the model of the key from your
Mhm.
contract, which
So I
means
have
you pretty
an
much
idea.
know how to get into it. So you're just able
Mhm.
to slip in, click, and open the door.
Very slowly, just wide enough for me to inch my.
Absolutely. You're able to get in. You get in, you see he's got like a small sitting area, like a couch, big screen TV. To the right, there's sort of a kitchenette. And then there's a short hallway that leads to a bathroom on one side and then his bedroom on the other.
All right. I would like to silently pad my way to his bedroom and sort of listen in to see if he is still awake, if I hear snoring or typing, anything.
You don't hear. You listen at his door, and you're able to silently get up to his door. You hear some noise from inside, but after you listen for a little bit, it sounds like maybe he has a white noise generator in there, and there's some kind of mechanical noise as well.
Like a
But you're not hearing any
fan.
like sound of movement or anything like that.
Okay. Once I feel a little bit more confident that I don't hear moving cell phone noises or anything like that, um, I'm going to just very, like, you open the door where you keep your hand on the
Mm-hmm.
knob and just open it just a bit to
All right.
see inside.
I'd like another dex stealth roll, please.
Keep it together, Willow. One success,
One
but it is on
success.
hunger die.
It's on a hunger die. That's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, you open the door, and sort of creak in. It's not as clean as you'd like it.
Uh,
It's not that like pure silent thing. The door creaks a little bit much, so you stop and then slowly.
stay still, then
Mhm.
open it up just a little bit more.
But you're able to get the door open, and he doesn't rouse. And you
Okay.
see him. He's in a twin bed, sort of up against the wall.
Yeah.
There is like that sort of soft hiss of a white noise generator, which probably helps you out a lot because if he's the type that needs something like that,
Yeah.
probably it's overcoming that. And then you see him sort of bundled up in some
Yeah.
blankets, and he has a sleep apnea machine uh, on his side, and it's attached to his face.
I she sees that
Hmm.
and it gives her just a little bit of pause that this could be dead.
The beast inside is chatty. Uh,
She's ready.
Yeah, it's the beast inside is very chatty. It's not it's like batting down these like hesitating thoughts
Mm-hmm.
with like it's just sort of feeding you images of you snapping on your friends and your crew
Yeah.
and like, if you don't take this, I'll take one of them.
She has a very compelling argument.
Indeed.
I I ghost over and kneel at his bedside. Is he like bundled? If
I
he
mean,
has
he's
a
he's
hand
not
out,
he's not like cocooned, but he's got a lot of blankets on him. Like he's got a weighted blanket on. Um,
yeah,
you could try and tease out if you want to go for a hand. You could try and tease it out a little bit.
I definitely will.
Okay.
As she's doing this, there's definitely a sort of how you can almost look at yourself doing stuff in your mind's eye,
Mhm.
like you're watching yourself do something that
Yeah.
you're so into it. You're watching. She's like watching her, and in her mind's eye, she sees her. She's not wearing any makeup. Isn't as when the party and everyone else sees her has makeup on, she hides the corpse. She isn't. She is
Sure.
bare and a
Yeah.
monster that isn't
It would
necessarily.
be a terrible
And
thing for him to wake up right now, but you're
if
able
he were
to
to wake up, it would be a start.
but
But
you're
she,
able to tease out his arm
yeah,
from under the cocoon from under the blanket. So you have his arm and you have his wrist available to you.
and I sink my unlipstick lips in.
Yeah. You sink your teeth in. You see he
Yeah,
starts a little, but then the kiss takes over and he just sort
mm-hmm.
of lolls
Oh,
off to the side and that sweet, sweet, energizing, soothing blood starts to flow into your
mm-hmm.
mouth and the beast is just purring with
Mm-hmm.
delight that
I
you're
could
doing.
almost hear.
Yeah, it's you can hear that purring as you sort of hear the heartbeat in your ear and
Yeah.
it's this overwhelming sensation. So, how much do you take?
Within this game, I believe there's 3 options you can have.
Mm-hmm.
First one is just to sit.
Just a
The
tip.
second one is you've hurt them, and the third one is you've killed them. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it. So if you take your hunger down to 1, then you will certainly be hurting this person. They will. It is likely that they will need very quick medical attention if they are not to either succumb to some terrible injury or
Yeah.
die.
I'll
Die
take.
indirectly.
Yeah.
But if you
I'll
take
take
them
it
down to
down to 2. I'll do 2.
okay,
I'll hurt him, but right before, like as I'm just getting into it, I stop.
okay, yeah,
I
you're
I
able
don't
to
know.
pull
My face
yourself.
bumps his respirator. I'm reminded,
Do me a favor, roll your unspent willpower for me.
and it's up to 5, correct?
Uh,
Or is it that entire bar?
it's the no, it's your resolve plus your composure, which is your total willpower, and then minus any you've spent. So you're gonna be rolling 3 dice because you just took
Okay.
some willpower damage.
5, 7, 8.
5, 7, 8. Okay, you're
Yeah.
able to constrain yourself. You're able to stop yourself from hurting this man further or even killing him. But the beast wanted
Not
more.
today, Willow.
The beast wanted more.
Oh.
But yeah, so you think that you're able to take what you need from this guy without needing to then call 911.
Yeah.
But you're pretty sure he's not going to be making it into work tomorrow. Like he's going to be sick.
Most
He's going to
definitely
have
not.
flu-like symptoms and all that kind of malarkey. But yeah, you take not your fill, but enough to keep your head clear.
Yeah. I suppose on my way out, is he the type of guy who leaves keys in a bowl by the door?
Yeah, he's got a little rack that he has like sort of a little magnetized key ring that it's attached to it.
I want to either get a picture of if he has a spare key, just take it.
Okay. Give me a wits larceny roll.
Don't jingle the keys, Willow.
This isn't technically a break-in, so your specialty won't apply.
10 normal die, 6 hunger die.
Okay. Yeah, you look around. You look under basically his one of his like containers that has flour in it, and there's a spare key under it, so you're able to grab it.
I'll be back.
Oh boy. So yeah, so with your head clear, over the next couple of nights, you and your crew are able to do a short, very focused infiltration of the GBI, and resolve the discrepancy in the records that, if it were allowed to go any further, would probably result in some unpleasant
Suspicion.
circumstances for you and your crew. So
There's
yeah,
a lot
like
of paperwork and stuff.
so yeah, so that's you. So Alex,
What up?
you like I said, you have some of your people pick you up and take you back to your haven in Buckhead, and you have enough self-awareness to realize that this is going to be a bad one. And the thing about your people is that you have your herd, which is your fans and people in the industry that you're able to get into a situation fairly easily to feed off of them. And you have money with which you pay people who do work for you. And you have your fame, so you have, groupies, but that sort of syncs up to your hood very well. What you don't have is retainers, which are the type of people who have some combination of intimacy or loyalty to you to give you the help that you need as a vampire, as a Malkavian vampire. So that is heavy on your mind as they're driving you back to your haven, and as the colors are becoming discordant and violent, and it's harder and harder to focus on where you are, what you're doing. But eventually they get you back to your apartment, to your condo, escort you in, ask you if you need anything, and
Uh, I I don't answer that.
okay. So yeah, I'm assuming Alex has something like a soundproof room somewhere that's quiet for this
Oh,
sort of thing.
definitely.
Yeah, that's you're able to really kind of get yourself into that room, and then that's about as much as you can do for the rest of the night. You're able to get into the quiet room, and then the only noises are the ones inside your head.
Okay.
And eventually, the sun rises, and you have a moment of peace.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but as it does, the sun sets. And this is something I've heard. This is obviously not something from experience, but when you wake up uh, from after having a psychedelic experience, sometimes the images and the thoughts in your dreams probably it wasn't a very good idea to sleep in that
I
state, but
I have
sometimes you wake
also
up wrong. Yeah.
I've heard that through friends of mine.
Yeah,
Never personally
it's never
experienced it.
personally, of course, but that's sort of the situation. You wake up to a a smattering of images in your head that you don't recognize, that don't make any sense. Lace across a table, terrible gnarled hands, um, a vision of the city that's unlike anything that you recall. It's older and deader than anything you recall, and all these images are swirling in your head, and you just can't find a context for them. How are you dealing with that? Oh,
Uh,
make a rouse check for me, please.
okie dokie. All right. Remind me how to make a rouse check.
That's a single die. On a success,
Oh.
your hunger stays the way it is. On a failure, it goes up.
Oh no. Well, that one's lost into the darkness. Let's try a different one.
Oh boy.
That's a failure.
Okay, yeah, your hunger goes up. I believe that puts you at 3.
Yes. Luckily, I have heard,
You do in
so
fact
I'm
have a
gonna.
herd.
And I have heard too, so I've got 4 to 7 individuals willing to, or 3 to, I don't know, a number of individuals willing to give me some loving.
You
Well, I'm
do.
gonna get that. I'm gonna get that taken care of first.
Okay, so you essentially make a booty call.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you what's Alex in the mood for tonight?
Um. Well, this is gonna be. I'm gonna need to get some work done here because clearly these images that are in my head right now, they mean something. I don't know what they mean just yet. So I'm gonna need a little bit of pick me up. Um, I'm gonna grab one of my herd that I know is big into coke or some sort of speed, and I'm gonna chow down.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you is there a man or woman, something in between? Where what you going for tonight? Because you have plenty of people who are into coke.
Someone who could take a
Uh,
lot of coke.
yeah, I mean, honestly, the as long as they're relatively pretty, I don't really care about
Okay, so
anything.
the first one that comes up on your contact list. Arlen uh, is there about 45 minutes, and he has the dime bag ready to go. And how much do you take from Arlen after the?
Um, I'm not going to take enough to cause any significant damage. My hunger's only at a 3. I'll just take it down to a 2 so that he's.
Okay.
Plus, I don't want to get too tweaked out.
Yeah, you're able to take that and moderate yourself, and the drugs speed up your thoughts a little bit. They add a little bit of pep and maybe not order to the thoughts, but it's something. And you're able to sort of pull yourself out of the stupor of the experience, and now you're on more of a ride, as it were. And Arlen, takes what you give him, enjoys the experience, and now you have someone on your couch.
Cool. He can stay there. I'm going to throw my headphones on and start mixing.
Okay, yeah, you start mixing. What kind of music? What's the genre that we're going for tonight?
So, I got all these visions in my head. I had a really bad synesthesia experience last night, and I don't really understand what all the colors meant. All this stuff is scary. I'm butting up against all these forces that can kill me. So I'm probably going to go something butting the line against dubstep.
Okay.
Sort of very aggressive, sort of bassy.
All right.
But I'm too civilized to do drops.
Okay.
So
So sort of a sawtooth, but nothing like aggressive or. Okay. Noted.
right.
All right. That lends something to your experience. Once you have control of the sounds, then the colors start to be what you need them to be. You're able to control them. You're able to at least predict what they will be, as opposed to just being assailed by them. And you think that you're getting into a mindset that you might be able to do yourself some thinking on these images that are coming into your head.
Right on. So like as the music is sort of guiding me through, the most important thing to me is trying to figure out what kicked this one off. Because usually there's a trigger, even if I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sort of thinking back about what made this song start.
Okay. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is seeing Cadence part like that. And there was more than a little similarity to that night that your friend got hurt. To that seems to be the most obvious. Tasmina got hurt. That seems to be the most obvious thing. But then you sort of start to think of, okay, well that's the obvious answer. But what are these images? These images aren't something that I've have any context for.
Right.
So you think that this is stuff that's coming from without.
Gotcha. Well, I definitely don't. I'm not powerful enough to have telepathy, but I've known Malkavians who've had it before. And also, there is a Malkavian net style thing, isn't there?
There is. It's called the Cobweb.
The cobweb.
You don't have. You're connected to it, and it comes to you on occasion, but you don't have any particularly mastery of it. You know that there are some Malkavians who do,
Right.
and that might be something that you could try and develop. Out of game information, there's a lore sheet called the Cobweb in Chicago by Night that allows for more precise control over that. But it's something that you as a Malkavian know about.
So from my experience, does this feel more like that, or does this feel like telepathy?
You think that it's more like the Cobweb. It's more like the sort of
Okay.
the low level mind sharing that the clan has, as opposed
Kind of
to
the
a
background
direct
noise. Right?
as opposed to a direct telepathic image.
Okay. And it was old gnarled hands, lace on table, and What else?
and the skyline of Atlanta, but not right.
Okay.
Something was off
Uh,
about it.
is there? Can I tell what was off about it?
Let me see. Herb, stupid computer. Give me an intelligence academics roll.
I can do that. I have a lot of that.
Remember to include your 2 hunger dice in the pool.
Yup. Now I'm starting to regret that decision.
Eh?
Okie dokie. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits.
Man,
No
that's
tens or ones.
fantastic. That's a straight up good time. Yeah, you're thinking about that, and you just sort of immediately start to go to your computer and start typing in some terms that you think will help, and then you immediately zoom in and find an image of the city about 80 years ago. And it's not
Huh.
exactly that. There's still some elements that don't exactly line up, but that image is far closer to the thing that you're seeing in your head than what you can do by looking out the window.
Well, that is interesting. Um, old people, old tables, old city. Is there any specific building that seems to be kind of focused here, or more of a general kind of
Midtown?
midtown? Rock on. Um, well, I guess probably uh, midtown is Cam territory, right?
Oh yeah, very much so.
It would be a really bad idea for me to go there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
might not be that great of an idea.
Um, okay, well, so I guess the next thing that Alex is going to do is I got kind of a vague idea of a future plan to go check out Midtown and figure out if there's a Malkavian who's either sleeping or purposely sending messages out through the web. I am going to go ahead and title this track. It's going to be called "The Sheriff of Nothingham."
I love it.
Ah,
That's fantastic.
concerned.
I dig it.
And I think that at that point, Alex is probably going to try to get on with his night. But he's definitely going to be sort of keeping an eye out for any sort of links to this chain.
Yeah, you find yourself able to sort of get back into your mode, and when you sort of start checking your your email and your messages and whatnot, you realize that you've actually got a show coming up pretty soon. That's been arranged for you to be a part of. Um, and that's more complicated nowadays than it was in your breathing days. So
Sure
you
enough.
think you're going to have to spend a little bit of time maneuvering that, especially since the Axel brothers are a partner in this particular show.
Oh, that's awesome. And where is that show by chance?
That show is going to be. Let me think. It's at the Opera Club.
Okay, so at least I don't really have to deal too hard with Cam folks. I just have to deal with the Axel brothers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
That's
and you have a good relationship with the Anarch gang that is oversees that area.
cool.
But yeah, so that's gonna take up a good amount of your time over the next week or so.
Okay. Well, then he starts lighting those fires, then trying to grease palms in the correct way without alerting the Axel brothers that he's doing it.
Cool. That takes more time than it does effort.
Mm,
It's just you got to be careful around those guys. Um, but yeah, eventually, your business wraps up. You put a good show on. You're able to avoid them entirely. You have maybe a slight run-in with one of their like security bros, but it's nothing that you can't maneuver yourself around.
times.
And Willow, your business wraps up, and you feel
Mm-hmm.
comfortable getting out from deep cover
Yeah.
at around the same time. And come Ash Wednesday, both of you feel that it's about. You feel like getting back in touch with your coterie might be a good idea. It's been a while since you've actually had a firm conversation with them.
Yeah. No, as Willow realizes the time and that she's gonna have to face the fact that she really walked out at a super time. She's gonna get like a hey, no hard feelings, ghosting you after you got your ass kicked.
So yeah,
I don't know, another drop kick Murphy had. I ask one of my people like, hey, I don't know what drop kick Murphy can like a short thing.
they're like,
It's just like a sort of
we
smooth. It's like a smoothing gift.
we got you, ma'am.
Can you wrap it?
He's like, sure, we can wrap it. Yeah,
All right, you're very appreciated. Really.
thanks, ma'am.
Okay.
And yeah, Alex, similarly, after your show wraps up and your time becomes more free, you think that it might be a good idea to get back in touch with the coterie.
Cool. So I'm going to send Alex I mean, not Alex. I'm Alex.
You
I'm
are.
going to send Cadence a copy of Sheriff of Nottingham. I did not do it at the show. I'm just going to be like, hey, this is for you. I don't know why I was thinking about you when I put it together. You can do whatever you want with it. I probably won't record it, but I thought you might like it. I don't really know what you like, but all of that in an English accent. So I guess other than that, he's just going to go to our hideout.
Okay. Willow, same thing, basically.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, just with the wrapped gift in my passenger seat, like, oh.
All right. So, Cadence and Madison,
Mm-hmm.
you've had your encounters and your adventures over these couple of weeks, and I'm assuming that the pattern of hanging out at the haven in your domain persists.
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, so you get Cadence. You specifically get messages from Willow and Alex. Sort of, they sort of talk around what happened, but
That's fine.
um, but you sort of you've gotten message from them. And you think they're probably going to be showing up at the Haven pretty soon.
So she'll let Madison know that they're heading over and send messages back saying like, "Yo, don't worry about it. I'm fine." And it's no big deal. Just forget about it.
Okay,
It was an embarrassing moment all around. She'd rather just bury it.
fair enough. All right, Madison, are you doing anything in particular to get yourself ready for stuff?
Not really. I mean, all of his schemes are kind of in action, and he might say something snarky about how it's very good of them to visit their own haven once in a while, but otherwise,
All right.
not really, no.
So, fairly early in the evening, about 8:30, these two roll into the Haven.
I sort of like awkwardly open the door without knocking. Just like, hey,
Who's
might
there?
get in. It's Willow.
Oh,
Yo.
I have a key. Hey, Caden. Can I talk to you for a second?
Sure.
Like in the kitchenette or the hallway somewhere.
Sure. Are you okay?
Oh, I'm fine. Never been back.
if you need me to put on some music just to be sure, I mean,
No, it's okay.
I just want to make sure you two have the privacy required to work out whatever it is that you're talking.
Why do you gotta make it weird, Madison?
Yeah, you really
my
did. Okay. And so I just like go with my like a tote bag, and once I get her alone, like, hey, so I know that you said it's water under the bridge. I still am sorry about running out on you. Jaw was broken. Whatever had happened, I didn't stop to look to what happened to you. I shouldn't say that. I have this for you. And I reach into my bag and a wrapped gift. And I'm just like, here, I really am sorry. Work is work, and I don't want to get off on the wrong foot and make you think I'm a flake or something, and do that frequently. I want to.
Cadence is gonna take the package, and look down at it, and look at you, and her face says, "What the actual fuck, Willow?" But then she opens it. She starts opening it, and she sees the shirt, and her face lights up for just the briefest moment before she realizes that she has an image she has to keep, and she just shoves it over under her arm and goes.
So I will
Thanks.
say, Cadence, this shirt you recognize is one of it's a vintage shirt from like one of the first shows or tours where they actually had a merch booth, like a merch table. This is like one of the most rare, choicest ones that you can get your hands on.
A quality gift, in which case her face is probably going to light up for slightly a fraction of a second more before she realizes she has an image that she needs to keep up.
Indeed, and of course Willow knows nothing about this. It was her people that did this.
I had no idea what they put in there. She's just like, oh, a shirt, good. Money is nothing. I don't know how much it costs.
Yeah. So while
she's just like, okay.
Thanks.
So while you guys are having
put this someplace safe.
So while you guys are having this little encounter, Alex rolls into the Haven.
Yeah, I just walk in like nothing has changed. I go set up my laptop at the altar and I start throwing down a beat.
And Madison's there on his BlackBerry, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I'll let him get away with it. I'm not going to call him out. I'll save him for later.
I've got a CD track for you too, buddy.
Also, I don't have a BlackBerry. I have taste. What do you?
He has a Nokia.
Yeah, it's my weapon. It's on my sheet and everything.
It does lethal.
It does. All right, so I can almost see the water cooler around which you guys are having non-committal conversations.
Yeah.
I love it.
Vampires are bad at feeling.
Indeed they are.
So
Indeed they are.
At one point, I'm going to stop, like in the middle of mixing a track, and I'm going to look over to our illustrious leader, and I'm going to say, "Hey, did anyone ever come to try to fix the thing?"
Actually, remind me if this is wrong or not. But we noticed it wasn't there anymore shortly after the two of you left.
Mm-hmm.
Because it seems somebody came by while we were visiting our honored neighbors.
Yeah, the microphone, the cell phone, and the Dreamcast are all gone.
Mm-hmm. The whole rig was removed.
Well, isn't that just something?
It means that whoever is engaging in that sort of surveillance was aware of the Camarilla's intention to volunduct us at that time of night.
Yeah, well, I guess that's probably a mystery solved.
Perhaps. There's no guarantee that it's necessarily them who did it, though. Just the most likely candidate. I'll see what I can figure out.
Right,
They
on.
had to have forced their way in here, or found a way in here that even Willow hasn't found. And I feel the first is more likely than the second, so there should be some evidence of their passage.
Or they're a Nosferatu with great skill at the powers of their blood, and they simply walked in the door with us and we didn't notice.
Quite possible.
Ouch.
Now, I will say, Willow, you still have like the routing information and like the internet information about where
Yeah.
that was going. It's just you don't have the physical hardware anymore, so it's not a complete wash. So you still have something, but
I still have evidence that it did definitely take place. Someone was definitely surveying.
and you could try and follow that lead if you so desired.
Yeah, I might put resources to the next extended break or anything that we have.
Sure.
But right now she was just swamped. There was just a lot of stuff going on.
Indeed.
So, Rowan, what are you thinking?
Who?
I don't remember what your character's name is. I have
Madison?
bad memory.
Madison.
Madison.
I think.
Madison, what are you thinking?
I think the best thing we can do is try to find another Anarch who's a little more skilled with technology of that sort than any of us are. Willow, I know you're an expert in your field, but that field's only tangential to this one.
I'm
And
probably coming back into the living room. That's
yeah, he just speaks to her the moment she walks through the door without like interrupting her in the conversation.
no context for
Yeah.
what you. I'm just like.
Willow, the Dreamcast and everything connected to it is gone. It's just gone.
When?
As far as we can tell, it was taken out while we were paying our visit to the local fiefdom.
It was the fucking cams! Shouts
Oh.
Cadence as she walks back into the room from putting her shirt away.
The fucking cams! Absolutely.
It
I
does
agree.
seem likely that it was the fucking cams.
So what I put forth is that we put out some feelers, find an Anarch with a specialty in this sort of thing. As we determined earlier, this info that you pulled out leads us to some pretty deep, dark places online that are a little beyond my ability to penetrate.
Yeah,
but somebody who knows their way.
A Tor browser is just too much for Madison.
I mean, the problem was that we couldn't figure
hardware with me to Georgia.
The problem was
Don't have
we
that
couldn't
kind of
figure out
hardware.
where it was going
That's true.
once it was there, because it's, all that traffic's concealed. So we need somebody who can go beyond Madison's ability of just installing Tor and actually do some more advanced analysis on the information. So that's what I put forth. Anybody else have any other ideas?
I mean, oh god.
The way that I see it, what we've got right now is we've got someone spying on this haven. We've got the sheriff of the Camarilla making it very clear that he's going to be keeping tabs on us. We have possible Sabbat incursions, though we haven't really seen any since we've been here. And we have a mandate to protect this area from the Sabbat. Oh, and we have an army of ghouls at our beck and call by accident.
Yeah, I'm actually going to be
ghouls.
looking into. I've been. A lot came up, but I Cadence figure out what part of town they're.
Oh, yeah. We had to go through Cam territory to get there, but they're up in one of the other Anarch pots. The player forgets the name.
Collier Hills.
Technically, we're good to go there, and I have every intention now that everything's been cleared up to figure out what that was.
So I just want to be very clear that we have accidentally installed ghouls in another Anarch gang's territory.
No, that I think that's where they live. Like they lived originally.
I mean,
It was an inheritance.
Yeah, we didn't put them there. They were there before we got here.
Yeah.
No, I completely understand that. I'm not so sure that that other gang will completely understand that.
Then we should take the initiative.
So-
I
Well,
agree.
Madison.
They were getting blood from somewhere. I figured probably it'd be best to try to smooth it out.
So,
mhm.
So the
Madison,
best that we can.
while this conversation is going on, you get a message on the super secure Anarch version of Discord that you guys use, and it's a message from Vivian, who is the sort of the first among equals of the post-life women's collective. That you sort of exchanged a few information, and the message
Right.
is in the form of a meme.
Nice.
And it is a very angry looking puppy is the image, and the text is, "Do we have a pupper problem?"
Madison just holds the phone up for everyone to make them experience what he's experiencing right now. He specifically holds it up to Cadence, more so than the other two.
What the actual fuck?
Guess that's one way to obfuscate the meaning. Cadence, you should explain while I find an appropriate counter meme.
Okay, sure. Christ. Okay, so we went over to a thing at the college, and there was a werewolf that I might have had words, but they were just words. Just words.
Could you do
Oh.
me a very slight favor? Could you rewind for a second?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you say werewolf?
yeah.
Well,
So
those are
glad
real
you're
then,
here,
I suppose.
Cadence.
She,
I don't believe I've ever met a werewolf before. What was he like?
she was a freaking full dyke Amazon massive hulk of something.
If I could just stop you for a moment, I don't know that many of those words were appropriate. Nonetheless,
I don't do appropriate.
well, when you're staring down the barrel of a massive Amazonian werewolf woman, perhaps appropriate is the best way to go. So is she angry at you?
No, we just sort of. We were doing some exploring, and Madison had a little moment that with. He kind of looked kind of creepy, and she caught wind of that and made her uncomfortable, so we had to smooth it out. But we were on decent-ish terms when we left. Like, I agreed not to mess in her business, she agreed not to mess in ours, and we came home.
That's a fairly accurate summary.
Oh.
So I think the final word is that we do not indeed have a pupper problem.
Yes,
I
actually,
would say
and he
most
holds up
certainly not.
He holds up his phone with a Galaxy Brain meme that has unaware of situation, aware of situation and not sure what to do, negatively engaged with situation, situation resolved, and nothing to worry about. And that's the order of the expanding brain universe, and that's what I sent.
Lovely.
I don't get it.
It's fine. It's like another language, but stupider.
It's the
Okay,
opening stages of taking DMT. I'll take you through that road sometime.
sure.
You got to be Johnny
But
on
yeah,
the
no, we
spot
do
with
not
that.
have a puppa problem. I mandate that we do not have a puppa problem. And if
I
we
not
do,
think
I
we have
apologize for misreading the situation.
I think we're all in agreement then.
Okay.
So shortly after, you get a counter meme, which is Kermit sipping tea, and it's less subtle this time. It just says, "Getting questions about C. Maybe stop by sometime."
I'm going to send back a triple counter meme that is an evil Kermit meme that says, me, ignore problem and let other people handle enter me, go get involved. And then it has a time that I select arbitrarily for the next couple of evenings to go visit.
Fair enough.
I like these people.
Can I just? I'd like to go back to what we were talking about before for one moment, and I would like everybody to take note of the fact that the former Anarch gang who held this territory had ghouls in another gang's territory.
It's a little
Yeah.
suspicious.
It's very suspicious. That's all.
Yeah, no, totally in agreement with that. Sorry for the other guys interrupting the train of thought with the memes or whatever. So, do you want me to go scope that place out a little bit more? Or do we want to do like a formal visit?
Do I need to get my checkbook?
I think it might. In my opinion, it might be worth it for us to tell the gang that actually controls that territory what happened. We may be able to turn those ghouls back over to them.
Well, I just scheduled a meeting with them to discuss our pupper non-issue, so we can breach both
Wait,
topics in the same.
Are those? I don't think those two are the same one.
If I recall correctly, the Sisterhood are the ones that control the territory where we met our unfortunately very tall friend.
Yeah,
It-
but
it
is that
is,
the same one?
but-
Is that the same one where the ghouls live? That is McKenna asking.
Collier Hills is
Mhm.
where the ghouls went to, or whether the
Mhm.
stop that they got off of is on the other side of the city from Agnes Scott, which was the college that you
Oh,
were
okay.
at.
I misunderstood.
Okay. All right.
Well, I can schedule a meeting with this other gang.
You currently don't have any information on who controls that territory.
I'm gonna fix that with some politics.
Indeed, you are. So yeah, you
An-
basically
Anarch stuff.
Anarch
One
status. Yeah.
question though before you do that.
Hmm?
So the gist that I was getting from this for following them in the first place is that they were well fed, and we thought that maybe they might actually lead us back to where Sister Lynn is. So if we give someone else a heads up that they're there, would that somehow cut us off from the one person who might know what happened here before we got here?
That's a good point.
I think that we can reach some sort of arrangement with them. I suspect that no Anarch gang in good standing is going to be willing to just let these people suffer.
Mhm.
But
And again, if the Anarch gang that controls that territory already knows what happened to Sister Lynn and does not want us to know, that could become a problem.
possible. I'm of the opinion that it's better for us to try to be as, shall we say, proactive and transparent as possible in these early stages. How we'll establish a positive relationship with the other gangs in the area. And if there is anyone who does have something to hide from us, I would prefer that hand be shown earlier rather than later so that we can begin to act on the information.
I trust your opinion.
Okay.
Willow?
I mean, diplomatic. The diplomatic route makes good sense.
Mm,
You just have to get a hold of them.
I don't think that will be too terribly difficult.
No, I don't imagine so. How up in arms people are around here, I imagine we'll only have to be in their territory for a small amount of time before they approach.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe we could figure it out before we went wandering around in somebody else's territory this time.
I don't really have contacts in this city, so I'd be able to help that.
I'm going to get on Vampire Discord
Yeah.
and commit whatever appropriately political action is required to uncover this information.
Let me take a look at your character sheet and see if there's anything relevant.
While he's doing that, I'm going to start setting up a vampire Slack.
Yeah.
Noted.
Threading. So much better. Fuck using Discord for anything professional.
I don't know what that is.
Just give me
I
a
don't
quick,
know.
Madison. Give me a quick wits politics roll, please.
Alright, can I add my Anarch status since
You
this
can.
is directly related?
You absolutely
Awesome.
can.
Politics +2. Bloop. 4 successes.
Yeah, after a
Hell
little
yeah.
bit of digging and sort of like you sort of go over some of the commonly available chat logs from that program, and you kind of sort of triangulate, um, uh, and you can tell that the gang that is closest to that area, it's Anarch territory, but it's not in anyone's specific domain.
Oh, that's great.
But there is a very close by domain that is called the Red Trap, and they are kind of a they're kind of centered around a music a hip hop music studio
Awesome.
that's loosely connected to TI. Um, but you think if anyone has any sort of presence or interest in that area, it's going to be them.
Perfect. So, good news, everybody. That's not actually in anybody's territory, officially.
Sick!
That's good to hear.
This group here, called the Red Trap, they are nominally very close and probably have a de facto claim if they wish to expand the borders of their territory. I'd have to do more digging to figure out how often they have an inclination for doing that, but it's not terribly important right now. They're musicians, actually, or at least deeply tied into the music industry, specifically the hip-hop scene. So we might have an in with you, Alex,
Yeah.
as well.
Right on.
If nobody has any opposition to my plan, I will make a formal contact and arrange a meeting with them as soon as possible.
And since they do not formally own the area where we're going to be poking about, would it be okay if I went and snooped around a bit more?
As long as you can get there without having to force me to pay a corrupt tithe to the Camarilla
I
oppressors.
will not take the subway. I will do that cab thing that you do and go roundabout.
All right, that will be way less than $1,000, so I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Cadence, are you getting ready to do that right now?
If that, maybe not right now. I'm not. Is that how we're going to spend our evening? Is doing this? Because if that's the evening that everyone has planned, then sure. Or if it's something that we're doing at a later date, that's cool too.
I just want to know what you're doing.
I think we can probably. I mean, I can't think of anything more pressing. We don't have any leads on Sister, the V one.
Vivian?
Okay.
Vivian? Was it Vivian?
Yeah,
Scott,
Vivian.
was it
Vivian is in Agnes Scott, which is in the east of the city.
Okay, who's the
and
missing one?
That's Sister Lynn.
Sister Lynn. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought Sister Lynn was in Agnes Scott. Okay.
No, she's not. Sister Lynn was in where you are now.
That's what I. Okay, cool. That's what I.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we don't have any leads on Sister Lynn. We don't have any outstanding obligations. We don't have any real leads on this Dreamcast, unless you have some idea, Willow, what we could do to track how it was.
I have people who specialize in tech that I could pay under the.
Okay, so
I have one thing that I might be able to do. I don't really know how efficacious it will be, but I can give it a try.
well, it sounds like we all four have at least something to do with this evening. So, shall we split up, gang?
All right.
So
Yeah, that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Excellent.
So when you guys are all getting ready, Willow, no, sorry, Cadence. I don't know why I get you two mixed up.
It's fine.
It's two very different
We've
characters.
all been mixing up names tonight. It's
Indeed,
fine.
we have. But anyway, Cadence, you're sort of in your room, sort of getting some stuff together. And as you are wont to do, you glance up at the map that you sort of keep an eye on, and you. At first, it's just a glance, but then something compels you to look again, and you see a smoking bit coming up from the line.
Everyone hears. She's gonna shout it really loud. Oh fuck! The map's smoking!
And with that, we're gonna go on break. Welcome back, viewers, to Burn It Down, a Vampire the Masquerade game. When we last left, Cadence had noticed that the thaumaturgical warning system that was given to them when they were sort of given this territory to let them know that a kindred had crossed the line between Cam Anarch territory and Sabat territory was smoking. There's a single point of smoke, which indicates that a kindred has crossed that line. Where it is on the map is, if you remember that bridge that I showed you, McKenna?
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Oh, it's on the bridge?
It's on that bridge.
Awesome.
Which is, it just indicates that's where they crossed, which I will remind you is probably less than a mile from where you currently are right now.
Okay.
And you don't know how long it's been smoking, but it's smoking now.
Okay, so she's, she shouted, the map's fucking smoking. She's gonna run up back to the main hall and shout the address or the area where it was, and she's just heading straight for the door. And she looks excited, like oddly happy that something is going down.
Oh shit, let me get my key. I do. You beat my car.
So you're driving then?
Oh yeah, get in.
Oh, we're
If there's
going
stuff on the
we're
floor, just move.
going there?
We
Oh.
should, yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, right. Obviously. Okay. I guess, yeah. Let's just do it.
Madison checks the gun that he openly carries because it's stored.
All right.
And
So Cadence, I'm assuming, is first out the door.
Yes.
And when you open the door and sort of head out onto the street, you see parked across from your haven is a very large, like 70s era land yacht kind of car. And it's just like one wheel up on the curb. Like not like on the not like on where like you could park, literally up on the curb.
Skids to a halt. What the shit?
Does Sabat have no respect for traffic law?
Gonna sort of take a defensive stance and see if anyone's coming out of the car.
You see, there's someone in the driver's seat. Like you see, like there's no lights on in the car. Like the engine is not on. But there's just someone sitting there.
Hey.
What time is it?
Probably around 10 p.m.
Okay, so it's still early in the night.
She's
like the window's up. So
take a step closer to it and shout at whoever's inside, like, "Hey! What you doing over here?"
You see, they turn to look at you. And the window sort of slowly, like they reach down to like the crank, and like slowly start to turn the window down, and you're able to sort of see their features now that the window is down, because there's pretty heavy tinting on the window.
Okay.
And it's a woman.
Okay.
She has long, pretty dirty black hair, mirrored sunglasses, kind of a toothy, kind of ragged kind of grin, and she says, "Cadence, right?" She says, "Cadence, right?"
And who the fuck's asking?
She's like, she puts her hands out, both hands out the car. I'm gonna step out if you don't mind. Like, she's got black leather gloves on.
Okay. All right. I probably know the answer to this, but I do want to look her over with Sense the Beast.
Okay.
And as she said, "Okay, come out slowly."
All right. Give me that roll.
Could it as this conversation is happening, I just very obviously go to my trunk, open it up, and just start looking through the bullshit I have in my trunk.
Okay, so
Do
you're
I
getting
have
out
any
on the
shit
street as
getting
well?
here? Yeah.
Yeah, you can go to your car.
I'm just gonna open up the trunk, like, okay, what do I have?
That's two.
Two successes?
Yeah, no relevant hunger results.
Shit.
Yeah. If there's a beast here, you can't detect it. So yeah, she pulls her hands in very slowly, unlocks the car, steps out. She is kind of average height, very, very athletically built. She's got a tight leather vest on, very tight jeans. And she just sort of steps out, leans against the car, and just sort of is maintaining glasses to eye contact with you, and like occasionally looking over at Willow. This is it a full house tonight?
You still didn't introduce yourself.
It's like,
So before I answer any of your questions, I expect you to introduce yourself.
you can call me Margot.
Okay, Margot, what's your business here?
I have business with you guys. Why don't you get everybody out? We'll have a little chat.
Willow, you want to go get the guys? I'm keeping an eye on her.
Do you want to have this inside, or can we do?
He's like, I'm not interested in your hospitality right now.
Oh, okay, good. And I just like, I go up to the door and I just sort of like wing it open. We have another visitor right in front of our
I
fucking
knew I shouldn't
vision.
have put the location of our secret hideout on Google Maps.
Yeah, this keeps happening.
I'm just gonna go out there.
Okay.
Same.
Alex, please make me an intelligence politics roll.
Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Politics. Oh, that is 0. That should be fun for me. One of the things.
Include your 2 hunger?
I did include the 2 hunger, and I actually got 3 successes.
All right. So when you walk out the door, you immediately recognize this woman. She is a paladin of the regional priestky.
Fuck! Oh god. So I walk out the door. I don't get all the way out the door. I walk back in the door.
What is that?
The fuck?
I'm sure he forgot his headphones or something.
Whatever. What business do you have on this side of town?
She says, I have a message. And an invitation.
Well, as much as I am a fan of unnecessary diplomatic theatrics, I think even my patience with that is coming to an end. So let's hear the message.
Yeah, state your business and get the fuck out of our house.
That's one way to put it.
He says, well, very well. I appreciate a straightforward approach. I come bearing tidings from His Eminence, Archbishop Montenegro, who offers you his hospitality and safe passage to and from his Esbot on this evening.
For what purpose?
Parlay.
And what reason does he have to parlay with us?
I am not privy to all of his plans, but I have been given instruction to provide escort to you, to see to your safety to and from the area, and beyond that, I'm not that involved in local politics.
When I see that she's not just beheading everybody out there, I will come back out.
Okay. She nods to you in a kind of recognition.
Oh, hey, what's up, Margot? Long time no see.
You're like, yeah.
Old
Uh,
flames.
Work acquaintances.
I see.
We're not seriously gonna, like, do this thing, right?
He
Do
does.
what thing now?
She wants us to go back and visit the archbishop or whatever. Says we got an official invitation.
I suppose, Margot, this is going to be one of those things where he makes us further offers that we are expected to accept.
I believe he has something he wishes to discuss with you. As I said to your friends here, I'm acting on orders to facilitate his agendas, but I am not necessarily involved in those agendas.
I wouldn't expect you to be.
Regardless, he wants me to let you know, and she actually like pulls out a little notebook, that this offer expires when the sun rises, and you shouldn't expect another one of the like.
Would not have expected the first one of the like, so certainly a second one seems improbable.
This is
Well, we have nothing to fear, so
I can tell you in no uncertain terms, Candace, if Margot wanted us dead, we would at least be very close to that point by now already.
she just gives a smile.
That's sort of what Margot does.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm not in that
Willow-
habit of rejecting polite invitations personally. I mean,
All right, but if we're going, we're taking our own goddamn car this time.
I am fine with that.
Might I inquire if Carl is going to know that I'm coming?
She holds up a finger, looks through her notebook, and says, no, the Archbishop has put Carl to a task to the southern edge of the city tonight.
Wonderful. Well, then I feel perfectly comfortable.
She says, you can follow if you like, but my ability to ensure your safety decreases significantly.
Well, I am perfectly content to ride with you, myself.
Same.
Can't speak for the others.
Hey, Cadence, I understand last time to a strange. Do you? And I like motion towards the open trunk of my car. It just has like fucking axes and shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you like want something for you?
No, I think we'll be fine.
All right, whatever. And I slam the trunk of my car down.
Like,
Thanks for the offer, but if this is a polite invitation, then
she's like, if you want to bring weapons, you can bring weapons. Cadence, let me assure you, I do not give a rancid fuck about you. Unless you give me a reason to, I don't need to have a pissing contest.
whatever. Let's just do this.
All right, I guess we're
Well.
getting into this car.
I'll say this at least. You're more polite than the Camarilla sheriff.
She
True.
says, I could eat that guy for breakfast.
Wow,
Also true.
that sounds like a date.
We'll try to
Please
hook the
do
two of you up at
anytime.
some point.
She's like, I can fill up my own dance card. Thank you very much. She like reaches in, unlocks the car. So who's getting in where?
I will
I'm
get
getting
right
in.
up front.
Okay.
I'm gonna get
Good,
right
I'm
beside
glad.
her.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
you guys ride shotgun, get in the back.
Yeah, I'm gonna hang in the back with Willow.
Alex, when you start to go for the side, she's all like, no, you in the back. I just replaced a glass, and I don't want to give anyone the temptation to take pot shots.
Oh, well, shit. All right, cool. He gets in the back and hunkers down as low as he possibly can
The hoodie.
with a hoodie up.
All right,
Cadence will take her hat off and put it on your head.
I love it.
Thanks.
So, so Madison, you get in the front. And like I said, this is a land yacht. 3 can sit in the back seat very comfortably.
Nice car.
What's the order? I just want to know what the order is on the
Who?
seat.
Which one you guys want to be in the middle?
Yeah, who wants?
Me.
Yeah, he can be in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll rest our arms on your head down.
No, Cadence is going to be glaring at anyone who dares look in the window.
So
Staring out at the
who's
entire
on
time.
driver's side? Who's on passenger side?
Passenger.
Passenger.
Yeah, I'll be right behind.
Okay. So when you get in, Willow, and you sort of get in, you feel something against your feet. Like there's something in the well of the car there.
What do I see?
It's covered up with like a canvas sheet.
I nudged the sheet over with my as I'm getting.
It's.
What is?
Do you nudge the sheet off?
Oh yeah.
So sitting in the sort of the leg area, the foot area, is like a corgi-sized rat that has a large stick sort of shoved through it, going in one side and out the other. Its eyes and ears are covered over in wax.
I'm just gonna lean down and pull that sheet back over the top of it.
What is that?
She's like, I think it's a friend of yours. It was kind of prowling around your place. It kind of gave me a bad feeling, so I took care of it for you.
Ain't one of us.
No, but I suspect it's what got rid of those items that went missing.
She's like,
shit.
she's like, I was gonna eat it later, but if you guys wanna, we'll deal with it when we get back.
Yeah.
So and once everyone's in the car, and assuming Willow, your like legs are crunched up.
Yeah, like my feet are like on it, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah, it's
It
squishy,
stinks.
and it
Oh.
doesn't smell great. But it's just utterly paralyzed. So she turns the car around, goes right back over that bridge, and starts heading south. At a mildly law-abiding speed. Silence kind of dominates the car unless anyone wants to speak up on the trip.
I'm totally going to.
Yeah,
What are you saying?
I just keep looking over at Alex like expectingly, like there's something here that I feel like I'm not a part of, and so I keep looking at him like expectingly.
So I'll start texting her because I don't want to say any of this stuff out loud.
Okay.
And I'll text, this is the CEO of the company's, well, I'll erase that.
Mhm.
So if the CEO of the company were to have a boss, this would be that boss's bodyguard.
Oh. Is the only thing I said.
So Madison, what are you saying?
I'm going to say, so, tell me about His Eminence.
Archbishop Montenegro?
Hmm?
He's better than some, worse than others.
As are most.
He hasn't done anything to piss me off.
That seems advantageous for him.
Alex, overhearing this, hearing the name of the Archbishop, that was not the Archbishop's name when you were on the south side.
Ooh.
You do recognize the name, though. There was a Bishop Montenegro.
Sombra, I assume.
Yeah, that's a reasonable thing. He was the Bishop of War when you were there.
Uh-oh.
But apparently things have changed. If you want to give me an intelligence politics roll, I might give you a little bit more information on him.
Yeah, let me throw that out there and see what happens. I get 2 hits.
Yeah, you remember him. Like you maybe talked to him a couple of times. He is zealously pragmatic, an individual.
That's good.
He's on path of honorable accord. And is, as close to sort of a straight shooter, but utterly dedicated to wiping out the Camarilla and the cause of the Sabbat. He has his own personal private faith, but he's much more about efficiency in the mission than any one particular creed.
So out of our group text, I'm going to send Masquerade safe versions of Montenegro is absolutely dedicated to fulfilling his own personal goals, which generally align with the religious goals of the Sabbat. He doesn't necessarily have to be an enemy of the Anarch movement. Do any of you guys know what paths are?
I would say absolutely not.
No.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I have like occult 1 at
Yeah,
most.
no, that's not information like
I don't
that
even have that.
unless you have some sort of relevant specialty. I would say that with the ratings you guys have, that's not something you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. So so when everybody just kind of hems and haws there for a second, I'm gonna say something I can explain to you in more depth later. For right now, it is very important that we allow Madison to do the talking, and that we be very, very careful not to insult Montenegro's honor. If we do that, we will absolutely all die.
You just
That's
see
so dire.
Cadence just like bite her, just like clench her jaw as she's replying back via text, and she's like, "Well, fuck, I should have stayed home."
Anyway, you actually the drive it doesn't involve a lot of turns. You're actually going straight down the road that bridge comes off of. Eventually, you begin to see a rather large looming structure down the road. Um, if any of you care to pull up a Google Maps, you can very easily see that this structure is the Georgia Federal Penitentiary.
Yeah, I probably recognize that by sight, honestly.
Yeah, which is maybe about 5 miles down the road from your haven. And as you sort of right before you pull up to the cross street that goes into that area, she makes a left turn into El Progreso Tienda y Carnicia.
One thing I meant to say before we left the Haven, it's not super impactful, but I wanted to go get that piece of art that I found in the drawer in the room that I inherited.
Noted.
And bring that along.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy enough to extract from the thing and have on your person.
Wait, is that the one of Cain and Jesus being bros?
Yes.
Just so that the people who are watching have context for
Fair
that.
enough.
Indeed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I said, you take a left turn into a parking lot in sort of a standalone building that says it says El Progreso Tienda y Carnicia. She pulls around to the back of it and unlocks the door and gets out and leads you to a back entrance.
All right. I'm going to put on my game face, which is to say I'm going to activate Dawn.
Okay, noted.
There's no rouse cost to it, so it's just on.
Okay, so you have mean face on.
Yep.
Gotcha.
This is your game.
The important part is if anyone wants to hit me, they have to pass a resolve composure roll.
Gotcha.
Fair.
So yeah,
I look
you
intimidated.
come in. I'm assuming you all come in. So yeah, she opens the door for you. She does not follow you in. And when you come in, you are immediately like assaulted by the sort of the base metallic smell of animal blood. Because this is in fact a butcher shop and store. So just that smell comes right at you.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a couple of workers walking around, and your attention is immediately drawn to a not even trying to hide it vampire just sort of sitting on a stool next to one of the big metal freezer doors,
Mm-hmm.
and they just staring at you.
Oh, hey, Sid. How's it going?
He narrows his eyes at you, and then with what looks like some pretty hefty muscle behind it, pulls open the door and motions you inside.
I give him a nasty look and then walk through the door.
This was
So you sort of
Not like a fuck you, but more like a I'm not a prissy little Ventrue. Shifty eyes.
fair enough. So you come in
Okay.
to a freezer, a large walk-in freezer, and there is another gentleman at the back of it, uh, at another uh, large door. This gentleman is not wearing street clothes. He's wearing sort of an ashen kind of half robe.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not covering all of his chest. He's got a bare chest under it. He has a lot of markings on his face. Um, and he's just sort of awaiting for you to approach.
I'm gonna walk that direction like I own the place.
When you get close to him, he holds up a hand and says, "Before you enter holy spot, you must be cleansed."
Once more, I look to Alex.
I just I just walk forward and allow myself to undergo
Okay.
ritual.
So he pulls off a couple of things from a shelf. Like he pulls out like a bundle of dried herbs that he lights with a lighter and starts to sort of pass smoke over all of you. It's not enough fire to rouse your beast, but it is
Smoldering.
not comfortable.
Yeah.
And then he picks up a large sort of hand-sized burlap sack and pulls out powder and blows it on you. And you're just covered with this sort of white, ashen-like material from head down to mid-torso. And he motions you inside. And he looks to see who comes next.
I'll follow behind, like right behind Madison.
Okay. So Alex
I'll
goes.
step up.
Okay. The same procedure goes for you. And he lets you down, and then Cadence follows. Same thing against him, and then I think Willow is last. How's she
Yeah,
reacting to
I'm
this?
last. I don't feel good. This feels
Uh,
bad. This feels like thaumaturgy bad. Like just the instinctual fear of no, this. But Alex is doing it.
So yeah, so
Does it.
when all of you have gone through the little ritual, he opens the door, and there's a staircase leading down. And it's a very poorly lit kind of thing. There's no light in here. The only light that you see is coming from inside the freezer that you're currently in. And he says, "A spot awaits you."
The worst stair dissension I've
Mhm.
had in
So,
God, what, a few weeks?
is it the same order? Alex first, Madison, Cadence, Willow, or
Yeah.
Mm.
okay?
Actually, Cadence will take up the rear just to make sure no one's like. She wants to keep something safe-ish between the rest of the coterie and the back.
Yeah, actually, let me slip in front there too.
Yep.
Okay.
Want to
So
be right in the middle. You're safe.
you all head down.
Keep squishies in the center.
You start getting
Yeah.
into the stairwell. The door closes with a loud thunk behind you. And when it does, lights switch on inside the stairwell. It's not normal light, it's a black light. And every surface that you see is covered in UV reactive paint. You are sort of awash in bright, vibrant colors. And Alex,
Right.
this affects you
Nice.
quite nicely. It actually is startling for a moment, but then you start to process. There's information in these colors. Someone specifically arranged these colors, and you are almost able to read it, not in terms of words, but in terms of like feeling and emotions. And someone is trying to convey to you calm, safe, no worries.
Cool. Well, then I am immediately on.
But to the rest of you, it's a very startling, jarring, but still quite beautiful passageway down. And you go around, and the staircase turns.
So is this where you picked up your aesthetic, Alex?
Oh no! They picked it up from me.
So you head down the stairwell, and there's another large door. There's no one at this one. You open it, and once again, you are all assaulted with the smell of blood, but not animal blood.
I'm gonna put my hand out.
Mm-hmm.
Before you go into this room, there's a reason that I left the Sabbat. You are about to see it. Try your very best to keep your wits about you. This is not the sort of thing that you want to ever see. And I drop my hand.
Thanks for the heads up.
So yeah, that smell, and it's a mixing of smells. It's fresh blood, which excites the beast, but it's also old blood that's been here a while, blood that's mingled with dirt. And as you walk in, you feel the floor of this place is packed dirt. There are lights here and there, but they are large candles sort of lining the walls. There are figures, about maybe a half dozen people in the room there, sort of on your sides as you walk into the room. And as you fully enter the room, you're able to make out at the end is a large chair, sort of draped in fabrics and furs. You can't actually see the chair itself. And sitting in it is a man wearing a cloak of feathers that are some dyed, some natural, obvious blood on it. He is of an ethnicity that none of you can immediately put your finger on. It's dark-skinned, but nothing that you see on the streets of the modern day. His hair is shaved up to about his temple, and then it's long and black, going down to about his waist. And he says, in a very lightly accented English. He says, "Orphans of Thorns, I welcome you to my S-spot."
On behalf of our coterie, we gladly accept your hospitality and look forward to productive conversation.
It's what I'm here for. It's what I've brought you here for. But first, you mention hospitality. He says, "Let us not lie to ourselves. This is a tense situation. Me and my brothers and my sisters have sated our beasts. We would give you the opportunity to do the same." And he kind of claps his hands, and there's another door that opens, and a few figures are sort of pushed out into the room, their hands bound behind them. They all have kind of a bag around it, and they're sort of corralled in front of you.
He'll hold a hand up. I don't speak for my companions, but I am sated as well.
He says, "Are you certain you do not wish to be free of the beast while we do this?"
My mastery of the beast is sufficient.
He says, "If it's their lives you're worried about, they won't see a sunrise. These rats have, well, they've outlived their usefulness."
So one of my convictions is human life is sacred.
Mm-hmm.
Does this give me a stain
I mean, if
watching
you were
this?
not watching it,
Like, not
he's not-
being able to do anything about this sort of thing? Like, no?
maybe. We'll see how the scene goes.
Let's see.
In a similar vein,
Mm-hmm.
one of mine is how do I phrase this? Make sure to stand up for the little guy.
Yeah, this is very offensive
and I
to our
can't
sense of...
stand up for these people right now.
Do what you want to do, guys. It's a
I
role-playing
mean, I'll
game.
accept a stain. It's juicy for me to be traumatized by this.
Mhm.
This watching this.
We'll see how the scene plays out.
Okay.
But yeah,
Again, while the offer is very generous, I will decline on my part. I have, let's say I'm a picky eater.
it says, well, these aren't. He indicates one of them and says, "Obviously, I don't know what your preference is, but I wouldn't call these street trash. They've just they just got too big for their britches. Human traffickers are just such scum, in my opinion. I mean, these guys, like they don't even stop at the normal sex trade. I mean, I hear these guys sell people to vampires."
Ironic.
So you'll see when he says that, all of the tension in Alex's shoulders relaxes.
That was an in-character laugh, to be perfectly clear. He laughs at the obvious joke.
Because these guys are no longer a violation of my conviction. That's true. So I just like, oh, okay, we're good.
Not a fake laugh either. That's actually really funny.
He's like, "This is really, I can't tempt you. I mean, if you don't dispose of these guys for me, then I suppose I'm just gonna have to hand them over to Sergey." And when he says that name, like they start screaming from under their hoods.
I would like to glance around. As you said, it has like 12 people in here.
Yeah, there's about a half dozen people in here.
Just like...
Sorry, you broke up there for a little bit. I didn't hear what you said.
I scan around the room and I'm like, oh my god, which one of these is Sergey? Like, there's one of them that's scarier than the other.
There's nothing to indicate who is Sergey.
No name tags like,
Nope.
hello, my name is...
No little Latter-day Saints name tags. This is I think they have something to say, and he like indicates one of them, and someone comes up and like pulls the hood off, and like this guy's been beaten to hell and back, and they rip off the duct tape, and like they're looking at you guys like, oh, please kill us, please not Sergey, please anything but that, not Sergey. It's all what he does.
I'm
This guy's small college educated.
I mean, you can see this guy has some pretty nice clothes on that have been through hell. He says, "I don't want to go like that."
Does he smell palatable?
Yeah, he looks like the kind of upper crust kind of guy who probably went to school. You can't say for certain, but he doesn't smell bad.
Madison will step forward. Because he's still got full fucking game face on, by the way, which I've not activated this power around you guys before.
Oh yeah, Madison's in a scare mode.
Yeah, completely different Madison. This looks like this is a Madison that's killed people, like very serious. And he'll put his hand on the guy's shoulder and say, "If you sincerely wish for this to be your end, I will grant that wish."
He's like, "Thank you. Thank you. I don't want to go like that. I don't want to go like that. Please. Please."
And then I'm gonna kill him with my teeth.
Okay, you
and drink his blood.
Yeah.
I could do that now.
You dig in, and the rest of you see Madison jump on this guy and fangs in neck and drink until he drops. And Madison, you feel perfect. That voice that's always there, that compulsion to eat and feed and hurt is silent.
I'm gonna step up to the next fella, and I'm gonna take myself. I've only got two, but I'm not gonna kill him. I'm gonna take myself down, and as I withdraw, I'm gonna hand him about 25 OxyContin, and I'm gonna say, if you really want to die, I can't do it for you, but you can do it for yourself.
His hands are tied.
Cool. Well,
he
put him in his hands anyway.
Okay, you put it into his hand, slip it in. He'll figure it out one way or the other.
Mouth and put it in.
As Alex is walking back, Cadence is gonna like lean up and be like, "Would it be insulting if I said no?"
No, not necessarily. It would be insulting if you frenzy on him later.
Right. She's gonna look and see if Willow does.
Willow, I think Willow is very caught up in the sight of Madison feeding that deep. I think she is frozen, watching, unable to move, just very violent. That she is just watching right there, and she doesn't blink. She just watches Madison.
Payne's gonna nudge you a little bit. Yo, you okay?
Not moving.
All right then. Pressure. Because on the one hand, if they are human traffickers, that's a different story. On the other hand, she actually trust anything that's going on right now, so she doesn't trust that Sabat is telling the truth. She doesn't trust that these people haven't been laced with something. Like there's a lot of unknown factors here, but if that's what the other two are doing, then she, at the risk of being a bad house guest, as much as it pains her to think that way, she will take one of them.
How much do you take?
She's, you know what? If she's gonna keep that image up that she wants to keep, she does not want them to think that she is someone to be messed with. So for that, more than anything else, she'll kill the guy.
Okay.
She's not happy about it, but to
See,
do anything else would.
Here's the thing, Cadence. You
Yeah.
start off not happy about it, but then
Yeah, that's. I know.
but
I
then
know.
that nagging, clawing thing inside of you shuts up, and you are alone with yourself for the first time in probably quite a while. And the power and the narcotic essence of the blood is running through you, and it's hard to really feel bad about anything right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, two of them meet their end. One of them has a handful of pills, and the other is just on his knees before Willow, sobbing in his burlap hood. And unless she goes for him, eventually people take them, the two that are remaining, and take them off into another room. And the Archbishop says, I'm glad that we could provide for you. And miss, I can respect holding to your convictions. He says, why don't you take a few moments? Feel these feelings. And when you're ready, we'll step into my office. And he stands and goes behind the chair into another room. And the others file out, leaving you alone in this dark, dirty, now very, very blood-soaked room.
Yeah, no. Once Madison is finished, Willow's able to shake her, but she's now frozen out of shock, embarrassed. He wants us to. What? I don't get it.
He wants us to compose ourselves.
I'm always. She lies.
Yeah,
She
we
lies
saw.
directly to our faces.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's important for you all to realize that even though what has just occurred may seem like an attempt at provocation, coming from this man, I don't believe that it is.
Nor do I.
He sees a problem and he tries to solve it. So that may mean that there will be other tests like this that he does not realize are tests for us. Or, frankly, that he doesn't care are tests for us. So proceed with care. And I'm gonna go, and I'm gonna go into that guy's office.
Okay.
Madison's kind of looking at Cadence and Willow, waiting for them to assent to moving forward.
All right, I'm ready.
You good?
So,
Like, you actually good?
Always. I lie again.
oh, such lies.
Cadence
Anyway.
is gonna stick close to Willow.
So,
Moral
you
support.
all make your way past the chair into the door, and the change in decor is a little stark. This looks like an office that would be like in an office building.
Mhm.
Like fluorescent lighting, clean carpet, kind of tasteful art pieces around. Montenegro has taken off his cloak of feathers. He's wearing like a black turtleneck and some jeans. He's sort of washed the ash off his face in a sink.
He's relaxed now.
And he goes and picks up a pair of scissors and like pulls back his hair and cuts off the most of it. And he motions to a small collection of like couches and love seats. He says, "Let's talk."
Okay. I'm gonna go sink into one of the love seats.
He says, "Thank you for accepting my invitation. That shows boldness. I appreciate boldness."
Yeah.
So, I guess we'll get this out of the way. Are we gonna have the same kind of problems that we had with the last people who roosted up in Cabbage Town?
I don't foresee that being the case, particularly with your willingness to deal.
Good.
But could we have some sort of insight on what exactly those problems were?
Well, let's just say they weren't eager. They weren't concerned with staying neutral or not poking things that shouldn't be poked. They were very vocal and obstinate about provoking some of the more zealous packs that lie around that border. And I won't say that I've given orders to, mind our P's and Q's, but they couldn't. Those packs couldn't stop themselves after a certain level of provocation occurred.
So it was the Sabbat that killed.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All of them?
This is. I think we've accounted for all but one of them. That's
Then
not what
we
we're
have
here.
equal skill in mathematics, it would seem.
Indeed. That's not really the bulk of what I want to talk about tonight.
Let's get to the bulk and then worry about the side topics afterwards.
Certainly. However, he kind of rings a little bell. It says, "There's someone who's been wanting to see you, Alex." And you start to realize that this underground area must be pretty damn large, because you keep seeing like doors that go deeper and deeper into it. And a side door opens, and a young woman comes out, dressed in very sort of bohemian raggy kind of clothes. That Alex, you recognize. This is sister, for lack of a better term, another person who Carl embraced, named Liza.
Oh.
And she runs up to you and embraces you.
I unrestrictedly embrace her back.
She doesn't talk, but she is just like very physically affectionate with you. She pulls you over to one of the love seats and like sits you down and like sits in your lap.
Okay. Yeah, I snuggle into her and just act like this is perfectly natural.
And it seems to be. This is. I am a big fan of not a lot of bullshit. Do we share this, I believe?
Most certainly.
Good. Then I'll get to the point.
Let's do it.
So, we've heard some things about you guys through the grapevine. There's some big names behind you all. Salvador, Anita, Big V. If I were a betting man, I'd say that you've got some juice behind you. I don't know exactly what the Anarch movement abroad is planning with Atlanta, but my hope, my dearest hope, is that it involves much less Camarilla presence in our fair city.
I think we can assent to that being an essential component of the reason we're all here.
I love hearing that. I love it. Now, this isn't a universal sentiment that you'll find amongst the Sabbat, but now that the Anarch movement has finally woken up and gone its separate ways from the Camarilla, I like to tell you guys there's a lot less space between us than you may think.
Oh God, yeah. Oh.
So I have something I'd like to put forth. Maybe a little saucy. So, how do you like it? Do you like it deniably euphemistic or straight up on the table?
I feel pretty confident that if anyone's going to have a recording of this meeting, it'll be you, and I don't think you give a shit about whether it's euphemistic or deniable.
I don't. Anybody else's sensibilities have a preference?
By all means, drop the straight dope.
Yeah.
Good. So as Alex should know, next week is what we like to call the Festival dell'Estino. It's one of our holy festivals, and it involves quite a lot of tearing shit up. Now, I don't think you have a lot to worry about that. I'm going to try and keep it, south of here. But I do know that quite a few packs are a little tired with some of the thin bloods that have come down here to roost. I don't know what your opinion on those are, but we don't have much time for them. So, I feel comfortable letting you know that it's quite possible that in the next week or so, you're going to see an influx. And, well, here's what I say. I say that you guys are going to have your hands full. And I say that you're not going to be able to check every single kindred that comes up your way. Well, kindred, that's what you call them. And I say that it's perfectly reasonable for a couple of hardcore, deep cover operatives to make their way through your territory into Camarilla territory and wait for an opportune moment to fulfill the goals that we share.
Certainly seems feasible.
Cadence looks like she doesn't like that idea at all. She doesn't say anything, but she visibly bristles at this
So
prospect.
he'll actually uncharacteristically just kind of look over at Cadence and say, whatever you have to say it.
Nope,
She's
you're
like-
the top guy.
Montenegro says, speak your mind.
She's gonna glance at Alex.
And Alex will just give a very subtle nod.
I mean,
Alright.
we're no friends of the sheriff, so bad. Yeah.
No,
Right.
we ain't. But
Wouldn't
we've
you
also
basically-
been here less than a month now. And as much as I'm for tearing the cam a new one, gotta say, dude, I like your people just about as much as the Camarilla. So I'm not exactly keen on the idea of getting all cozy just yet when we ain't been here all that long and we don't know the score. We know it, we have an idea, but I'm not gonna go putting our asses on the line when we're the low guys on the totem pole right now.
I can respect that. But you have to understand my position here. I'm one of the ones who think that when we've torn the ivory tower down, destroyed the Elders, and the Methuselahs, and the fucking Antediluvians. I think that on that night, that the Sabbat and the Anarchs can have their differences, but not need to have a big do about it.
Forgive me, but that sounds a little bit too optimistic because, see, when the cam's gone, then it's the Anox you're going to have to take care of next. It's just knocking one guy down so you can come to get us.
And there are Sabbat in this city, who are going to be of that opinion, but I'm not of that opinion.
The two people that you would send,
Well, a couple of people.
that you might not get them back. Are you very confident that
the people who I have in mind are very, very good at deep cover, discreet operations. They're good at waiting, they're good at patience, and they're very good at killing elders.
So that being said, they're as talented as you say they are, and I actually have no doubts about that. Why consult with us at all, knowing that we're newly established coterie in the area, knowing that we've only recently inherited this domain, and I know you know that since you killed the previous owner. If you're not confident in their ability to stay undercover in Camarilla territory, why do you even need our cooperation?
Because I think long term.
So then what we're really discussing here is not whether or not we allow this, because even if I say no, you have all the power you could want to slip them right on through anyway. You're so confident about that you don't even worry about tipping us off as to your strategy. Am I right?
I won't say that I'll just go ahead and do it anyway.
But you could.
I could.
And that's what's important to me.
But I also see value in, when the night comes, in coordinating efforts.
I'm listening.
He pulls out from his jeans an index card. He says, these are ways to contact them. When you're ready to move, they can move at the same time. And they can wait. And they can be effective in tandem with your own efforts.
So then there's some expectation on your part that we'll be undertaking overtly covert operations against the Camarilla at some time in the foreseeable future?
Let's just say I know I've had words with Salvador in the past. And I know that if he sends people into a city, it's not to make nice with the fucking Camarilla.
What argument can there be with a Scot?
He says, as for, whether you can rely on me, or why I would do this sort of thing, I really, for as much influence and power I have amongst my fellows, I can't keep this kind of door open. I can make this kind of offer once.
Understandably.
If I keep the door open, or if I throw this to you guys another way, that compromises me. So, unless we can work together, unless I can say that these guys, these anarchs, are just as much of a thorn against the Camarilla, then I can keep my boys off your back. Because why attack something that's doing what you want to do anyway?
the enemy of your enemy is your friend, is what you're saying.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
if I may, there's absolutely. I think that you understand that we're going to need to take some time to talk amongst ourselves to be able to make any sort of a decision here.
Oh,
But I would
absolutely.
like to sweeten the pot for my own personal argument here, because I think Archbishop Montenegro, that you're under no illusion that I don't want to be a part of the Sabbat, and therefore I'm not. So I think this is probably actually a harder sell for me than for them, because I know what it is exactly that you're trying to do. So I would like to ask if my group undertakes your goals here, if we assist you in this manner, uh, I would like to be marked as off limits to Carl and his pack.
I think you know that I can't give that specific order. But I can say that there is no glory in hunting any of you. That it is stupid to destroy Knights who are working towards our own goals.
Carl is stupid.
He is. I'm not gonna lie, but he's a very, very useful blunt instrument.
By the way, how does my sister react when I say Carl is stupid?
She doesn't react. She
Cool.
actually pulls out a little notebook and starts sketching something with like a charcoal pen. She doesn't seem to care about what you just said.
Cool.
He says, "I'll tell you what. Like I said, I can't give that specific order. I can't give that specific order for any of you. I can't say these non-Sabbat are off limits and can never be touched or never be killed. I can't do that. It goes against what we do, the way we do things. But I can make it clear that each and every one of you is a knife against the Camarilla, and that there's no glory in taking you out. And furthermore, I can give you something that's not only very valuable, but something that compromises me." And he pulls something out from a drawer. It's a large, chipped obsidian chalice. And he looks to Alex and says, "You know what this is, right?"
I do.
He says, "You know the way. You lack the anointment. I can give that to you."
Alex, what is?
It's one of those things that we're going to need to talk about in private.
He says,
Oh.
"I have no problem showing good faith." He stands. He says, "You can leave my Esbot, making no commitment. You can take that with you." And he pulls out a vial of some dark liquid. He says, "I can anoint your brow, Alex. And you can talk. And then take until the sun sets 2 times. If you accept, keep what I've given you. If you decline, bring it back to the bridge, and we'll know."
Madison, does that sit well with you?
I have a few more questions, but I think that mechanism of communication is acceptable.
Ask away.
As you might imagine, it has been in our best interest to conduct a rather thorough canvass of the Camarilla. We've only been here so long, there's only so much we can do. What I'm curious of, and what I think is the key part of this that will affect how this impacts this coterie's operation and interest, is who you're after. Are you after whoever comes into your... or do you have someone specific in mind?
All of them.
So the former.
The Camarilla, even more in these nights, are the craven, evil servants of the elders and the founders of our clans, and they
Trust me,
all must
you don't have to tell me.
and they all must fucking die. The Anarchs?
When he says that, I don't know if anybody's looking at Alex. Alex has got this sort of like, yeah, he's right, kind of nod on his face.
This is the Anarchs have shown true wisdom in stepping away from that nest of vipers and vermin. And I think there's a future in that.
Well, if we agree on nothing else by the end of this whole thing, understand that at very least we agree on both of those points. Camarilla is not to be trusted. No good comes of their presence here or anywhere else, and the best thing the movement has done in the last several centuries, since the Second Rebellion, is to step away from them.
We are in complete agreement, and that's why I think we can work together.
I don't have any other questions for the gentleman. I think we should convene back in our coterie and give this the thorough consideration that it deserves.
He motions to the violence as Alex. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
He unstoppers it, puts his thumb, and then draws the sigil on the sabbat on your brow, and saying, "In the name of the Dark Father, I anoint thee." And almost before he's done drawing, the blood has not exactly boiled, but sizzled away in a cold, dark flame. And says, "If you don't wish to be amongst the fold, so be it. But I still believe in you, Alex."
And you know that I still believe that the antediluvians must be destroyed for this world to survive. But I also believe that the mortals must be protected. And until the Sabbat can offer me that, I cannot be a part of it.
We don't have to agree on everything, Alex. But we agree on the important things. Now, I have business to attend to. You have safe passage from my S-bot back into your territory. I hope to not hear from you.
May we never speak again.
Perhaps on the night when the antediluvians have fallen and their puppets have burnt to ash, we can share another evening such as this.
If by some great fortune the five of us are all still walking this earth, I'll be happy to see you. And Madison will stand and actually offer a handshake.
He puts it forward and grasps your hand. It's cold, strong.
Shake.
Liza stands up and tears a page from her sketchbook. And she walks up to you, Madison, and shows it to you. And it's a very artfully done charcoal sketch. You recognize yourself. You are on one knee. There's a figure at your feet lying on their side. And in front of you is a large masculine silhouette with antlers coming out of their head, and there's a sword resting on your shoulder. And when you see that image, something deep inside of you responds to it, and you feel a tug, a compulsion to take that pose, to go on one knee.
I'm gonna try to resist that.
It's not, there's no like force to it, but it's just, there's something lingering in it. There's something tempting about it. You think something good might happen if you do.
Mm-hmm.
Glances over at Alex to see if
And
shows it.
she's taken the picture back and is like starting to tear it to little bits.
Alex is gonna just kind of shrug because I didn't feel it, so I don't know what she did.
You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna do
Okay, you go down to
big
one
dick
knee.
energy engage. Doing it.
Okay. When your knee hits the ground, you feel something well up inside you. Your blood potency goes up by 1.
Oh, what the fuck? Okay. Woo!
And Montenegro is just sort of looking at this, like, not really getting what's happening. And Liza just sort of goes back and kisses Alex on the cheek and goes with Montenegro, and they walk out of the room.
Yeah, Madison's gonna stay down there for a while. He just puts a hand to his forehead and is kind of like shaking his head a little bit. And I call myself Alex.
Yeah, I think so. Madison.
Yeah.
God damn it. Yeah, but he's gonna just kind of like he's working through something. He kind of slowly puts a hand on the desk and pulls himself back up. Looks.
I'm gonna walk over and put my hand on Madison's shoulder and say, "Yes, my sister has that effect on people."
If that's the case, how interesting.
You gonna be okay there, bud?
Oh, I feel fucking fantastic, actually.
Oh. Okay.
A gift, I suppose.
Well, that's nice. Now, can we get out of this place? It's
Let's
give me the
let's
fucking
beat
creeps.
I'm this.
Okay.
let's
So-
get out of here. Yeah.
When you head out of the office, you head back into that room. There's no one in it, but that door that the mortals were ushered through is open, and you hear sounds coming from it. Not good sounds,
Mm,
but no one
Steal
else is
yourselves.
here.
Steal yourselves. I think that the evening's festivities have started.
And you walk up that stairwell. It's still blacklit. Walk out into the freezer, past the 2 gentlemen that are guarding the doors. Walk out into the night, where Margot is waiting for you. Said everybody have fun?
go fuck yourself.
She's like,
So much fun.
that's no fun. Sure you don't want to join?
Hell no. You'd probably give me something.
Well, I'll give you all sorts of things.
A good time.
Flips her off. Just take us back home.
Like,
I
all right,
tried. He says to Margo.
I'll give you a ride.
I could dig it.
So yeah, she gets in the car, unlocks all the doors, and says, back home we go. Oh,
Do I still? So you said the symbol burned off my forehead, right? I don't still have the sabbat.
There's no symbol of the sabbat. Oh,
thank
did
God.
you take who if anyone took the chalice?
I have the goblet. The
Okay.
chalice.
Yeah, he's got all related Sabbat accoutrement.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you have it with you, and she drives you up, drives you past the bridge, and drops you off in front of your haven. She says, you want fuckface down there? And she's indicating behind her.
Rat? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's,
I'll
yes.
take
What?
the rat.
Okay, good riddance. He was a squirrely little fuck. She says, I'm gonna be moving on, so I don't think we'll see each other, chums.
Yeah. No,
Well,
probably not.
good luck murdering whoever it is, and have fun or whatever.
Oh, I will. I
I
will.
sincerely must say it was a pleasure.
Same. And she closes the door and drives off into the night,
Man,
leaving you
now that
alone.
she's out of like earshot, that's a dope. I have to say.
So you have some questions,
Yeah, let's go inside and have a good long talk about all this.
Yeah. Long talk.
Do we
Long
really
talk.
have the talk inside the place that's been bugged so many times? It might still be.
Where else are we gonna go?
Honestly, anywhere.
I mean,
As of your last sweep, there are no bugs in it.
yeah, we pretty sure we got them all.
Okay. All right.
Right. So, gonna go in and put some nice, chill trance on. Gonna say,
Holding the
so,
rat.
Cadence will
you-
take the rat and toss it like by the door. We can deal with that later.
Like
You
in a
can
trash
put it in the
can.
fridge.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm
put it. You can.
Go ahead.
Fridge. You could like put it in the fridge or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna squish the rat's belly a little bit and see if there are any blocky Dreamcast shaped
Nope.
things
It's
inside of its belly.
just a rat. Just a very big
It was
rat.
worth checking.
Yeah.
It was worth checking.
So that
I'm no veterinarian, but I don't think it ate the Dreamcast. He says.
you said there's still a stick sticking through
Yeah,
it, right?
there's a stick
That's
like
keyword.
kind of like not like directly like in its chest, but like you can tell it's going through the heart.
Don't
It's a rat
remove
kebab.
that. Interesting. So that was my sister and let's say my uncle, for lack of a better word. Yeah. Okay. So this, he points to the black chalice. Well, this is a Voldery chalice. You probably don't know what a Voldery is.
We've
It's
probably
a mag.
never heard.
Mm-mm.
Right. Sort of like what we did with the ghoul. We mix all of the blood into one chalice in this instance, and through the magical rituals of the Sword of Cain, we all become bloodbound to each other.
That
As the-
sounds
Damn it!
miserable.
Madison says very suddenly when he says "Sword of Cain."
What?
Oh, you
I'm gonna
didn't
pull
give
the
him the
painting out of my pocket.
Oh, you didn't show him the thing.
Forgot to show him the fucking painting, and he just unfurls it for everyone to see.
Whatever. We'll find Sister Lynn and we can ask her about it.
Fuck.
So,
Oh well.
what?
So
Yeah, continue.
okay, so yeah, it's at all. It's wonderful. It's one of the very few things about the Sabbat that I miss, because it is something that you go into willingly. It is not. Well, let me rephrase that. You go into it willingly because you have no other choice. But once you have partaken in it, it's not like a blood bond like I've experienced anywhere else before, because it's not to one individual, it is to your gang, to your pack. I won't get into the finer points of Sabbat magical theory, but it is a very important ritual. Quite frankly, it's the backbone of the Sabbat. That he gave it to us does actually indicate some trust, because if this is a Voldery cup that his pack uses, it would be a terrible thing for it to be found out that we have it, and B, if we were to be duplicitous here of the Camarilla, they could do some real horrific damage to him and to his pack. I don't suggest that course of action, I'm only saying that it does indicate some trust. The ritual that he's done with me is a communicative ritual that will allow us to make our answer known. And now we have to decide.
I will
So
mention
let's discuss it.
I will mention one small detail. Alex, you probably would mention or know. It also makes you immune to any other blood bonds.
Oh, right, yeah. It's the way that the Sabbat ensure that they cannot be bound by elders because they're all bound to each other.
Oh. She kind of
So it's
deflates in her chair when she hears that. She's just like, "Oh, I see."
it's quite lovely. So I guess there's no point in continuing to play my cards close to the vest. I agree with the philosophical foundation of the Sabbat. I believe that ideologically they are correct. Because they ultimately want for the destruction of the progenitors of the clans, those shadowy individuals that the Camarilla only finally, within the last 5 admitted exist. There's a reason that the Camarilla has kept that hidden, and it's not because they are great hidden benefactors. It's because they are ruthless, bloodthirsty monsters that will destroy the world. That said, I could not remain in the Sabbat so long as their practices were as brutal and foul as they are. The Sabbat has no respect for mortal life, as you've seen.
Yeah.
They treat human beings as nothing more than livestock. That is not my way. So ideologically, I can agree with the Sabbat all day long, and by the end of this, I hope very strongly that you will believe as I believe. So, if it were up to me, I would absolutely assist the Sabbat in destroying a couple of Camarilla elders, because, frankly, I don't give a fuck about the Camarilla, and also I'm very much hoping that Sheriff Shitstain is one of them.
That was.
I'll drink to that bit at the very least.
Oh no, I disconnected.
No, you didn't?
You're still
you
here.
didn't. You're still there. What?
You're still with us?
There's some lag on my end as
Yeah.
Can you hear us?
Yeah,
James?
I can now. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we could hear you the whole. We heard you say the words, "Oh no, I disconnected,"
Okay.
which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
Back in scene.
Okay. All right. So, here's my 2 cents.
okay.
So, Madison, you said back there that if they wanted to do this, if they wanted to send these people in, if they're really as good as they say they are, they could just do it anyway and not worry about it.
That's my argument.
Counterpoint. Conversations I've had with some of our allies on the border, they seem to think that the Sabbat ain't as hot shit as they used to be. There's less of them, and the ones that are here aren't as crazy bloodthirsty as the others been here in the past. So maybe they actually do need the help. Maybe they know that if they did send some people and they got caught, they wouldn't have the backup they needed to weather the storm that came after it.
Interesting.
I think what is more likely is that they know about the existence of that map.
Well, I have a theory. This is one that we've discussed before, but I have a theory that Sister Lynn is no longer among the Anarch movement. And I don't mean that she's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got that feeling too.
This painting that I found in her chamber is a bit telling.
Yeah, that's some freaky weird heresy shit.
That would back up the notion they're aware of the maps.
Mm-hmm.
Now that being said, the map would trigger just as easily if there were legitimately a half dozen thin blood refugees passing our borders as well.
Mm-hmm.
They're still kindred, not of the movement, not of our coterie.
There
They're
is
just
always
asking to use us as a
Yeah, because he knows that everyone on the boat is going to be flooded in for those thin bloods, and probably doesn't want to take the chance that his people go over the wrong border and get themselves axed too.
And it does kind of alleviate a responsibility if sleeper agents got slipped through to Camarilla territory. I mean, how could we have stopped them? It washes our hands of it, and then maybe a few elders timely.
I think that the only real threat that we have here is actually Bishop Etiquette, or whatever that version Baron is actually Baron Tren, because I'm still not convinced that Baron Tren isn't in bed with the Camarilla himself.
Oh, he most definitely is.
If he acts
He's
in a
got
way
the fucking
that
maps.
well, that's one thing for sure. If he acts in a way that betrays that allegiance, that only benefits us.
It's true.
Once it's out, then we can act in return. Right now, all we have is speculation.
I would only suggest that, however we couch this, we must be exceptionally careful, because should we agree to work with Bishop Montenegro, then we are technically committing treason.
Yeah.
Don't agree.
Well, I don't agree either, but I bet you Baron Tran will.
I bet you that I'm a better lawyer than he is.
Yeah, but who else?
Agreed.
But if people found out, and like you suspect, he's got them all by the ghoulies, then that just leaves little old us with a whole city coming down on our heads. So
I'm studied in the histories of the Trinity. I know Anarch law. I know Anarch accord better than almost anybody in the movement.
Fair enough.
And I am very confident that even if he has that sort of hold over them, I will be able to argue our case on this particular matter.
I don't know that he does have that sort of hold. I'm not the only person in the movement in Atlanta that doesn't like Baron Tren.
I've heard, however, much like Cadence says, that he has a lot of these pacts on a very short leash. Now, whether that's because he has something over them or because he actually has their loyalties, two completely different.
I think that everyone in this city is afraid of the.
Great.
Oh, speaking of, we talked with them. One of them, anyway.
You are.
One of the four horsemen. Madison and I had a chat with her.
Oh yeah, that happened.
You didn't say that earlier.
Sorry, there was it was gonna come up, but then there was a fucking Sabat lady in a big ass car on our front lawn.
Also, the reason we didn't say anything is because it was one of the only things since I've gotten in the city that went better than I thought it would.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Basically, they got this like three-way deal with the Cam and the Sabat and the Anox. They're like keeping the wraiths from going all zombo apocalypse on the city.
And from what I can say, and I'm somewhat trained in such things, everything she said checked out. I didn't detect even the slightest whiff of deception, and it wouldn't make a lot of sense coming at it from a structural perspective, the things that she claimed were the case being the case. So I'm inclined to believe that.
Can I just point something out? I'm sorry. Go ahead, McKenna. You were.
No, it's fine.
Oh, sorry. I'm calling everybody by their screen names because I can't remember names. So there's only one question I really don't. It keeps coming back to me every evening when I awake. I have the same question stuck in my head. All four of us are infants. There's not a one of us that's powerful by any stretch of the imagination. I personally have only been a vampire for less than 15 years. Yet in the span of 4 weeks, we have crossed paths with the sheriff of the Camarilla, prince of the Camarilla, one of the four horsemen, now the archbishop. Well, werewolves, I don't know anything about them, but very specifically in the there must be hundreds of vampires in the city. I'm sure that not every run-of-the-mill scrub gets an audience with all of the major power players in 4 weeks. What is it about us? Are we being used as pawns between them? What is it about us that means that we keep running into these?
Well,
Stabilize.
probably pawns for the 3 sex, but we kind of went knocking on the hostman's door unintentionally, so that was not planned on her part.
Well done. Well done.
It turned out good, right?
Yeah. But
So
yeah,
here's
no,
my theory on that, Alex. I think that we're a destabilizing agent planted here by major movers in the movement from outside of the city of Atlanta, because I think they understand that Baron Tran's rule over this domain is intractable and is not productive. I think we've been put here to destabilize all 3 sectors.
Well, I personally thrive on chaos, so I'll drink to that, I suppose.
sure.
I guess.
I still don't like the idea of working with the Sabbat. I think they'll backstab us the first moment they get,
Oh, absolutely.
Almost
but
I agree.
at least I guess we'll see it coming.
Yeah, that's the thing. He gains nothing by warning us about this plan unless he is playing some kind of fucking 4D chess with us.
Oh, right. So paths are something that I meant to try to explain to you. So you know how we try to better ourselves by trying to behave as closely to mortals as possible.
Yeah, it's the only way to stay sane.
Well, yeah. There are some other philosophies with the bots that allow for other ideas on how one might strike an accord with their beast. Very hard to explain, and I don't know a lot about it, but what I do know is that the bishop is on what is called the path of honorable accord, and that means that he is really truly bound by the chains of his honor. So it's very it's difficult to really explain, but there are ways that we can use that knowledge to our advantage. For instance, he will absolutely lie to us. He will tell us that he won't stab us in the back, and then he will. Unless he ever says that he will give us his word that he won't do something, then he cannot break it. Then it becomes a binding contract. So there are some things that hopefully I might be able to share that can help us deal with him, if you folks can help us deal with other Enochs who hate me because I know those things.
Easy.
I
All right, we're getting
we got your
distracted.
back.
I put forth that we do it.
I agree.
Yeah. I'll accept free pawns. I mean, not free. They come with a price. Things considered.
Still don't like it, but don't like any of the options. So yeah, fuck it. Let's be traitors or something.
It's not treason. We're not acting against the movement.
Exactly.
It's chaos.
Trust me.
The man is right.
Right.
Okay, so the coterie comes to the
Agreed.
decision to at least somewhat work with the Sabbat. That is an interesting choice. And that's where we're going to leave it for the time being. This is the end of the first arc of Burn It Down. So you're all going to get an additional 3 experience in addition to the 2 per game.
Nice.
Oh, so that's 5 for this game?
Yeah, it's a 5. It's 5 for this game.
I can buy it.
Sick.
I'm gonna buy that stuff that I told you about earlier.
Indeed. So
I need to
when
decide what I'm gonna buy, cause
when we come back, we'll be in a new arc. The name of that arc is going to be Idle Hands. And
Ooh.
it will be a bit more player directed now that the chessboard is set. Thanks for picking up on that there, James. But yeah. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. Thank you very much for watching. Players, thank you very much for playing.
This was a super fun set.
Yes,
thank you.
it was.
It was.
Also, is that point of blood potency a permanent thing?
I will say that when you wake up the next morning, it is gone.
Aw,
Oh,
we didn't even get to enjoy it.
Yeah, I already changed my sheet and everything.
It's fine. But yeah, no, it felt like deep,
Great.
something deep within you welled up in that act of acquiescence. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. We'll explore that as we will. Thank you very much. Good evening to you all, and keep rolling dice.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.